At this time, it is my distinct honor to present to you Rabbi Zushi Greenberg of the Solon Chabad for some remarks and an address. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Mark and Dory Frank and Jordan and Brad Warman for inviting me to this very sacred moment. I'm honored and humbled to speak in this event. Every year you do it right before Yom Kippur is the service takes place. And the reason is because on Yom Kippur there is the Iskor service, where we remember our loved ones. Everyone goes to synagogue and to remember his parents, his cousins, his family, whoever he lost, and he wants to remember them. And that's why it could not be a better time to remember the 6 million, who many of them have nobody to remember them, to do this service right before Yom Kippur. But Yom Kippur, there is something strange about the Iskor service. Yom Kippur is a day that we celebrate. It's a Yontef. We say good Yontef on Yom Kippur. We have a meal before Yom Kippur. We have a meal after Yom Kippur. We wear Yontef clothing to go to synagogue. There is a chazan who is chanting and singing. It's a holiday. It's not a day of mourning. Why do we say Iskor on a holiday? You're not allowed to be sad on a holiday. And then, by the way, we say Iskor not just on Yom Kippur. We say it on Pesach. We say it on Shavuot. We say it on Shmini Atzeret. It's all times that it's written in the Torah clearly, V'samachta b'chagecha, you have to rejoice on the holidays. And how is it our rabbis for 1,000 years already established the tradition of Iskor on the holidays? To cry, to be sad during the time of holiday? Why? The answer is there is 2 ways to remember. In our personal life we have the Yortzeit and Iskor. Yortzeit, you remember your loved one on the anniversary of passing. And Iskor is a collective time that we all remember our loved ones. The difference between these two on the Yortzeit, what do you remember when you think about your loved one? Comes to Yortzeit, you remember the day of death. The last goodbye that you told them, the last time that you hold his hand, things like this. It brings you sad memories. You lost your loved one. But Iskor is not made to remember the sad days. Iskor is to remember, when you say Yom Kippur Iskor, you remember how you were sitting with your parents, with your father next to you in the synagogue. How you sitting with your mother. You remember the holidays. On Pesach, you remember the Seder. On Sukkot, you remember. It's all about remembering the good times, the good days. Not just to remember the sad times. Then the Iskor could be said, or it could be recited, but it doesn't have to bring sad memories. It could bring very, very happy memories. The best time that I spent with my loved ones. The same thing is about remembering the Holocaust. There is remembering the Holocaust, the 6 worst years in Jewish history, the heroes of the Holocaust, and there is remembering the people before the Holocaust. What they accomplished, what they did, the poets, the writers, the rabbis, the scholars, the singers, everyone, there's so many people who did, every individual contributed his own way to the world. To remember, to celebrate their life, not just to remember the tzores. And in this way, on a holiday is the right time, because you celebrate together with them. You remember the good times. Especially now that we have the 2nd generation, 3rd generation, 4th generation we saw here this morning. They remember their grandparents, the great-grandparents. They remember them. When the times to come to recite a memorial service is not to remember necessarily sad things, it's to remember the good times that I spent with my grandfather after he survived the Holocaust, and we had such great times, and in his stories that he told me and so on. Then this is the right way, and it's as the generations are moving forward, it's a time to concentrate on the positivity and the good memories from the people, from the Holocaust survivors, and even those who did not survive, to remember what they accomplished before. And I believe this is something that could speak more to a young generation in a way of bringing them, get them more excited about continue the memory of the Holocaust. But what is Iskar? Elie Wiesel, the most famous Holocaust survivor, when he came out from the Holocaust, he didn't want to get married, he didn't want to have children. Somehow he met the Lubavitcher Rabbi, and he got a very strong relationship with the Rabbi. He used to come to the Rabbi very often, and he used to speak for hours, because Elie Wiesel had a hard time with his faith, with his belief of God, he was angry and so on. And every time the Rabbi used to encourage him, get married, have children. In one of the letters that the Rabbi sends him, the Rabbi told him, you are very big on Zachor, on remembering. Zachor in Judaism is a mitzvah. It's called a mitzvah taseh, a positive commandment. You know, in the Torah there is mitzvahs, positive commandment and negative commandment. Or more correct to say them, mitzvahs to do and mitzvahs what you don't do. In Zachor is in the category of to do. We have to do it. The Rabbi told them you have to do something. Remembering is not enough. What are you going to do about remembering? Get married and have children. And eventually he got married, and the Rabbi sent him a beautiful bouquet for his wedding. But when we think about remembering somebody from the Holocaust, the question is, what are you going to do with it, with this memory? It's a call for action. And God remembered Noah, and he took him out from the ark. And God remembered Sarah, and he gave her a child. And God remembered the Jews in Egypt, and he sent Moses to redeem them. Zachor is a call for action. That if I want to remember Holocaust, somebody who perished in the Holocaust, a victim, you take somebody, let's say, who was just bar mitzvah, and he never had a chance to put on film, and I say I'm going to put on film for him. Maybe every day, maybe once a week, maybe once a month. Or if it's a woman lights candles for a girl who never had a chance to light candles. When we do something in this way, we remember them not only once a year, but every day. Thank you, and Shana Tova.